really what I've found is it's one of the most heavily regulated industries. There's state laws that are different from state to state, and then you got to deal with your federal law and regulations too.
Why can't all distilleries ship their whiskey to every single state? The wine industry does it all the time, but it's not the same for the spirits industry. In this episode, we explore a fairly new lawsuit with spirits attorney Brian Haara about a distillery in California that's suing the alcohol commissioner in the state of New York. And we do a bit of a dive into the three-tier system and how all that works. Will outdated, archaic laws be rewritten? Time will tell. Welcome to this episode of the Great American Whiskey Cookers. I am here in Louisville, Kentucky at Oxmoor Farms, and I'm sitting down with whiskey attorney or spirits attorney Brian Haara. So real quick, tell everyone, what is it that you do as a spirits attorney?
As a spirits attorney, if you've got a brand, I can help you out with that. If you need to launch the brand, if you've got trouble because you might be infringing on someone else's trademark or someone's infringing on your marks, people call me for that. If you want to open a vintage spirits bar, anything to do in the whiskey world, I take care of.
Fantastic. Okay, so I got a question for you. Being a whiskey geek, kind of a whiskey nerd, I kind of keep up on what's happening. I don't know all of it, but I know enough. And not too long ago, I saw this California distillery. I think it's called Obscure Distillery, right. And they're suing Lily Fan in New York. Explain what the heck is going on there. I don't know.
Sure. Lily Fan, first, it's a person. So, why is a distillery suing a person? Well, she's the commissioner of the New York State Alcohol Authority.
Okay.
Since 2023.
So you wouldn't sue the state?
You don't sue the state. It's just a funny legal rule. You sue that person, what they call in her official capacity, which is it's a way to sue the state, but you got to name somebody.
Oh, okay.
So you sue her.
Okay.
You don't sue her personally. It's not her house on the line, nothing like that.
All right.
But they're suing her because they can't ship their craft spirits into New York. They're in California. They want to ship it to New York, and New York won't let them, so they sued.
So can you not ship anything into New York then? Is that kind of the rule?
So what states have on their shipping laws that are developing on a monthly basis among states is they have laws for what can get shipped in and what can get shipped out, and a lot of times they look for reciprocity. Does California let New York ship into California? And California really started all this with the wine business. So they want to ship wine from all of their all their wineries into as many states as they can get, but they don't always let people ship into California. So New York says, since you're not letting us ship, we're not going to let anyone from California ship in.
So the distillers then in New York, are they allowed to ship?
They can ship within the state, and that's the basis of this complaint and it's a constitutional issue. Obscure Distillery is saying, hey, you've got to treat citizens of different states the same as you treat your own citizens. And you are treating us differently, you're treating us unfairly. This is a constitutional issue. We ought to be able to send our whiskey into New York.
So does that then get into constitutional law?
It gets into constitutional law, and we see it time and time again in the spirits industry because it's so heavily regulated. And it comes up, for example, about 5 years ago, there's a Total Wine case in Tennessee. They wanted to come into Tennessee. Tennessee was treating citizens of its state differently from others because it said to own a liquor store, you had to be a local Tennessee resident. And Total Wine, of course, is not owned in Tennessee. So they wanted to come in, and it creates this whole constitutional case.
So were they allowed then to open a store?
Yeah, they were allowed to come in. So that was overturned. And that case also addressed the three-tier system, which people have railed against for a long time. But that's the remnants of prohibition, is the three-tier system.
So walk me through, and for anybody who doesn't understand the three-tier system, walk me through what that looks like and some of the intricacies of it.
Sure. So the three tiers, the first one is production, the second one is distribution, and the third is retail.
Okay.
So those are your three silos, whatever you want to call them, the tiers. You can't have common ownership between any of those three.
So if I'm a distillery, I can't be my own distributor?
You can't be your own distributor, and except for some minor exceptions, you can't be your own retailer. Now they all have gift shops and you can have on-premises sales, but you didn't used to be able to do that. So that's something relatively new.
Okay.
But you can't control where the distribution goes either. So if you're a distiller, you literally sell to a wholesaler, to a distributor, who then decides which retailers to sell it to. And if you are a retailer, you're not supposed to take direction from the distiller 2 tiers away on how to display or where to put it, whether to put it up high, whether to put it on an end cap. You can't take that direction from the distiller either.
Okay, so that begs a question. If a retailer is not supposed to take direction from a distiller on where to display and how to do all that, how come there's distiller representatives that then go to retail shops and they put end caps up and they're showing how to do certain things and they're doing tastings? How does that all work?
First, it's going to be on the distillery's nickel to send someone in, and they do tastings all the time.
Right.
They even send master distillers in to do bottle signings, all those sorts of things. So you can't make them do something, but a retailer is certainly going to welcome the master distiller in and any help that they can get.
Sure. So it's not necessarily they can't mandate that they do something.
Right.
Right.
They can't mandate, and it's not a prohibition against having discussions or having cooperation, but you can't give incentives for the retailer to do something. You can't set the prices for sure.
Right.
Because we see that a lot in whiskey, of course, with some retailers charging however many times more of what the normal retail price is. So that's all on the retailer.
Right. So that co-ownership or cross-ownership, that explains why the guy who started New Riff Distilling, who did own Party Source, one of the largest liquor stores, I think, in the nation, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Right. But he did own that, and he had to sell his share, if I remember correctly, when he started New Riff.
That's right. He had to get out of the retail business, and you can only own one tier at a time.
Interesting. Very fascinating.
Yeah. That's full of laws. I mean, it's really what I've found is it's one of the most heavily regulated industries. There's state laws that are different from state to state, and then you got to deal with your federal law and regulations too.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, it'll be interesting to see where this whole obscure distillery lily fan thing goes.
I'll be following it.
Because it could impact all the other states, right?
That's right. It could open up, for the Kentucky distillers, it could open up the ability to ship to all 50 states, which we don't have right now.
Right. Very cool. If anybody's interested in getting in contact with you or buying your book, we didn't really talk about your book, but you cover a lot of law cases in your book.
That's right. So Bourbon Justice tells the story of bourbon, but I do it through these old lawsuits. I found lawsuits from the late 1800s, early 1900s. All of that information was lost during Prohibition, and it's in Bourbon Justice.
Fantastic. So how do they get in touch with you?
So you can get the book on Amazon. That's easy enough. Look at sipandcorn.com and bourbonjustice.com. That'll get you there.
Fantastic. You can find us at thegreatamericanwhiskeycookers.com. Like us on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If you want to become a member of Patreon, you can do that. We'd appreciate the support. And a huge thank you to our Patreon supporters. We can't thank you enough. We couldn't do it without you. And a very big thank you to Oxmoor Farms for hosting us and letting us sit down in their beautiful law library, have a conversation with Brian Haara, and talk all about this. Brian, we end every episode the same way with this little toast. If you can't be good at it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my God.
Now the first one, first drink of the day,
Yeah,
it kind of bites you.
yeah,
And
it's a little.
in all the bourbon tastings, it's like, all right, take your drink. Don't tell me what
Yeah,
it tastes like.
forget about the
Tell me
very
now.
first one.
Set it down. Let's talk for another 60 seconds.
Right.
All right,
And then,
now take a drink.
yeah, now let's
People are like,
holy cow, yeah.
Yeah.